Alright, this section is 5.1, simplifying polynomials and exponents. This first video is going to be going over simplifying polynomials, where we're adding, subtracting, and multiplying them together. So if we look at example 1, this one we have two polynomials that are being added, and we know that because of the plus sign in between them. Whenever there's a plus sign here, you are not going to FOIL the expressions. You are going to make sure that you are instead distributing that positive 1 or negative, whatever is the number in front of the parentheses, is going to be distributed to everything inside the parentheses behind it. The same thing happens in the front. Typically, you won't see anything written for work for this, because even though there's not one written, there is a hidden 1 in front of these parentheses, and when we distribute that to everything, it's just going to stay the same because anything times 1 is itself. So a lot of times you won't see work there, but we are distributing a positive 1 to that set of parentheses as well. So then once you rewrite this out, you will have a bunch of like terms that you can combine together. One thing you want to make sure you are doing is only combining terms that have the same variable and the same exponent. So if we look, we have a 2x cubed and then a plus 3x cubed. Those are the only x's with an exponent of 3, so those are the only ones we can combine together right now. So that would become 5x cubed. Then if we look, we have a negative 3x squared and a plus 2x squared. Those are both x's with an exponent of 2, so we are able to combine those to get a negative 1x squared. Then we have a plus 7x and a minus 3x. When we combine those like terms, it'll become a positive 4x. And then we only have one constant term, so that is just going to stay the same as minus 5. Once you combine all of your like terms, then you are done with simplifying on this polynomial problem. All right, for example C, this one, there is nothing in between the parentheses. So that tells us that you are going to have to FOIL and distribute between the two sets of parentheses. So basically we're multiplying. When there's two terms in the first one, you're going to start with just the first term. That first term has to be multiplied by every part of the second set of parentheses. So because there's 3 parts, we're going to multiply it by all 3 of them separately. So x times x squared is going to become x to the power of 3. X times a negative x is a negative x squared. And x times 3 is a positive 3x. Then we move on to the second term, plus 2. That is then going to be distributed and multiplied by everything individually. So positive 2 times x squared would be a plus 2x squared. Positive 2 times x would be a positive 2x. And positive 2 times positive 3 would be plus 6. Once you're here, you're going to combine any like terms you have. There is only one x cubed term, so that one can't be combined with anything. Then we have a negative x squared and a positive 2x squared. So those would combine to be a 1x squared. Okay. Next, we have a positive 3x and a positive 2x. Those would combine to be 5x. And lastly, we have our constant 6, which can't be combined with anything, so that will stay the same. Once all your like terms are combined, then you are good and there's nothing else you can do to simplify. Okay, the example below this, example E, one thing that I wanted to talk about, this is very similar to the last one. There's no sign in between the parentheses, so we're multiplying and FOILing. So what we are going to do is we're going to take this QR and we're going to multiply it by QR in the other one. One thing that is a common mistake with this is that people would write down QR squared, but that is not what we are going to write down. What it should be, because we have to multiply each like variable together. So we're going to multiply Q times Q, which is Q squared. And then we're going to multiply r times r, and that's going to become r squared. So when you multiply those together, you're going to get q squared r squared, which is not the same thing as qr squared. So it's very important that you know the difference. Then you just continue distributing like normal, or FOILing. So we have qr times a negative 5, and that will be negative 5qr. Then we have negative 5 times qr again, negative 5qr. And then the last thing, we have negative 5 times negative 5, which will come out to be positive 25. After you FOIL and multiply, don't forget to combine your like terms. So for this one, we have a negative 5qr minus 5qr. Make sure you are careful not to just assume these cancel each other out. When they are the same sign, that means that they are going to be combined together. So a negative 5qr minus 5qr becomes negative 10qr. And then the 25 at the end stays the same. Okay, so those are your half of the examples from this section. I would recommend pausing the video and attempting the 3 on the right, B, D, and F on your own, and then hit play. And if you'd like to scroll all the way to the end so you can see the answers and check them after you're done, you can do that. If you want more explanation, then you can stay and watch me walk through the rest of them. Okay, so for B, this one, there is a subtraction sign in between the parentheses, so we are not FOILing here. We're not distributing, we're not FOILing. We're not FOILing. So that means we're going to take this negative 1 and we are going to distribute that to every term in the parentheses following it. In the front here, there's nothing in front, so there's that hidden 1. So that hidden 1, and you don't have to show the work for this one, is being distributed as well. But because it's a positive 1, nothing in that set of parentheses is going to change. So it's going to be 7x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 4. For the second set, because we're multiplying it by negative 1, all of the signs are going to be the opposite. So negative 1 times a positive 5x becomes negative 5x cubed. And then negative 1 times a negative x squared becomes a positive x squared. Negative 1 times a positive x becomes a negative x. And negative 1 times negative 6 becomes positive 6. Then, just like before, we're going to combine any like terms we have. So we have a 7x cubed minus 5x cubed to give us 2x cubed. Then we have a 4x squared plus another x squared, and that will become 5x squared. Then a negative x minus another negative x. Now be careful with these. A negative x minus x means we have 2 negative x's, so minus 2x. And lastly, for our constants, we have a negative 4 plus 6, which would come out to be positive 2. And that is your answer. So go ahead and make any corrections if you need to from your independent practice. And now we're going to move on to letter D. This one was very similar to example E. So we're going to take this xy and we're FOILing and multiplying it by the other xy. Now make sure you have x squared, y squared for this one. Then we have xy times 2, which would be a positive 2xy. Now we have 2 times xy, which is another positive 2xy. And 2 times 2, which gives us 4. Then we can combine any like terms. We only have one x squared, y squared, so that one is going to just stay the same. Then our positive 2y plus another 2y brings us to 4xy. And then our constant 4 will just stay the same at the end. And that's our final answer. Okay, now this last one, F, just like the last one, we are going to FOIL. We have 3z times 3z. Now make sure you are being careful here. Just like when we multiplied the similar variables together, we're also going to multiply coefficients together and then variables together. So 3 times 3 is going to become 9. So make sure you don't leave it as 3. And then z times z is z squared. So 3z times 3z is 9z squared. Then 3z times -4 is minus 12z. Then 4 times 3z is plus 12z. And then 4 times -4 is -16. Now these two terms in the middle now are opposite signs. So when they're opposite signs and we combine them together, those two together are going to equal 0. Only when they're opposite signs and the same value. So -12z and then a positive 12z. Those will cancel each other out. So then your final simplified answer would just be 9z squared minus 16. All right, so make sure you check your answers on any that you tried on your own, and then the next video we'll go over Pascal's triangle.